Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hunt Lift Eat podcast brought to you by Hunt Lift Eat Official on Instagram. Carter and Carrie back in the sticks. I'm back from my month-long vacation in the Great White North with mediocre internet, Carrie. So let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, well, I'm still in Kentucky with mediocre internet, so
Yeah, dude. But you did close on a new house today, and you will be moving.
I did, and I ordered Starlink.
Yeah, hell yeah!
At the same time.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes.
I think I saw something today about them partnering with Apple moving forward. So you'll be. Oh, you're
it's
not
all nerd shit, man.
iPhone, do you?
No.
Damn. You're living in the Stone Age. All right. Yeah, Starlink. It's going to be better than that Kentucky Wi-Fi for sure.
Yeah. Hope so.
Let's
hope our buddy's Wi-Fi is going to work out because apparently Virginia Wi-Fi paired up with Canadian and Kentucky Wi-Fi didn't work out last time.
I think it's something about people in Appalachia on Appalachia Wi-Fi. It just doesn't cut as much. But this will be a good episode, man. This has been a long time coming. Carrie, you've been really good at finding us cool people to talk about. So we'd like to welcome to the podcast for the first time, Gregg McLeod, the founder of Green Beret Fitness. So Greg, welcome.
Thank you. Second week in a row trying for this one, so fingers crossed it works out.
This is it. Heck yeah. Kick us off, Carrie. I know you and Greg have a lot in common here, so I want to hear. I want to listen.
Yeah, so Greg and I have a similar background, just under different flags. We both spent a lot of time in the military, a lot of time in special operations, and as it turns out, we both really like walking long distances with bags on our back. So I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to hear about Gregg's background and how he ended up coming here, starting this Green Beret Fitness and things like that. But Gregg, man, let's hear. Tell us about you, man. Tell us about your background, where the word Green Beret came from for your Green Beret Fitness and all that.
Gee, we are going way back in time. If you want my background, I'm far older than you gents. So the company was originally, the concept was in 2012 during the London Olympics. I was working in London for the British Army at a CrossFit gym, and they wanted to do an outdoor workout. So that's when the sort of whole outdoor piece, doing fitness outdoors with civilians, came to be. I then went on different jobs. My time was far busier, so that was sort of put on a shelf and left for later. But the idea was ruminating and sort of that sounds fun. People enjoy it. Let's think about that as a job when I retire. Fast forward, I'm now the ops officer for 2-1 SAS, which is one of our 2 reserve SAS units. We have 2 reserve, 1 regular or active duty, as you guys call it. Back in London with them in Regent's Park Barracks in 2016 to 18. I know I'm retiring in 2018. I know I'm moving to the States. My then girlfriend, now wife, is American. So I think this could be an ideal opportunity to start a company doing outdoor events based on military tactics and training, but for a US audience. We tested the name Commando Fitness, but most Americans weren't as familiar with commandos as they were with Green Beret. The reason we used Green Beret was because we wore the Green Beret first. So don't know if you know that, but yeah, so in the late 1930s, early 1940s, the SOE, the Special Operations Executive, of which there were Canadians, Americans, Polish, Brits, put together a team in Achnacarry, Scotland, to go behind enemy lines in small teams and create havoc on a large scale. So small teams, large havoc, large chaos. And to signify who they were, they wore Green Berets. When you guys got the order from JFK, I think it was in the 50s or 60s, you then took the Green Beret on. It's now
Today's actually the anniversary of that, by the way, July 8th. Yeah, July 8th is when it was signed in Yep.
Congratulations. Fantastic. Yeah. That's great. So again, you guys took it on it, and it's now you guys are more famous for the Green Beret than we are. We are known in the UK and Europe as Commandos, but if you say Green Beret, people think of the American Special Forces. My cat is meowing. Apologies. Let me get rid of her. Pepper, out. Pepper, out. Sorry, guys.
No worries. I've got 4 dogs running around, so I'm sure one of them's going to pop in here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, 6 dogs. It's like 7 dogs at the moment. 7 dogs, 2 cats is a household full. See, that was the background, my background, and then the company started in 2020, just as COVID came to fruition, which was shit timing. But it gave me time to sit down and sort of think about the company, where I wanted to go, and how I wanted to grow. Originally, we were going to do city events because I thought it was easier. I thought that's what the population wanted. But then when COVID shut us down, I thought, is this what I want? Because GoRuck are fantastic. I'm sure you're aware of GoRuck, a fantastic company. But all their events, or most of their events, are in cities. So that area was taken. It also wasn't very realistic in the military. I'm not sure about your career. I'm sure you didn't. Most of our training was never done in cities, walking down a city street. It was done in the wild, in the mountains, in the sort of deserts, and you weren't led the entire way. Sometimes it was you, 1 or 2 guys, and you had to get from A to B to C to D via X, carrying all your kit for the next week or 10 days. So I want to make it realistic, but I didn't want to make it so realistic that people who had never had a background in the military couldn't do it. We did a test event where we gave them a compass, some grid references, and it went tits up. People got lost. So we thought, okay, we need to scale it down slightly, because the train. Yes, we could stay ultra realistic and do 6-figure grids and give a map and compass and a GPS. But the training burden for that, people have to do a course before they do the event to understand how they do it. So the training burden was too much. So we teamed up with All Trails, who's a huge online hiking routing company. And we now work with them, or they work with whatever. We work together. So all our routes are on All Trails. Super simple. You follow on you download the route on your phone, and you follow the route on your phone. Clearly, we still advocate taking a paper map, because if your phone goes down or something happens, then you're sort of up shit creek without a paddle. So always have a backup, at least one backup. But that's the area that is not as realistic as it could be. But equally, it's a business reason. We couldn't do it because there wasn't the client base out there who could use a map and compass efficiently enough. So I waffled on for long enough, but that's the basic of the company and sort of how we got to where we are now.
Awesome. Well, let's go back a little bit further, man, about you. Talk about your outdoor experience. Because I mean, not everybody just walks in off the street and is like, you know what, man, I'm going to be a Royal Marine Commando and I'm going to go do this special operations stuff. I know we talked a little bit last time about, when you grew up and all that stuff, but let's talk about like your outdoor experiences growing up in the UK, because it is vastly different than most of our outdoor experiences here in the US.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about the US is how vast and how fucking huge this country is. One of the downsides is that I found is you can't get to different parts very fast. In the UK, we're far smaller, so you can be in Scotland in half a day, Wales in half a day. I was fortunate growing up. We lived maybe 45 minutes from North Wales, so some of the biggest mountains in the UK were on my doorstep. My brother was also in the army. He was in the Special Forces communications unit. And when we both loved the outdoors, my father was very into it. My mum was into it. So even growing up, we were hiking on weekends for fun. So there was definitely a seed planted in my youth. I commissioned in 2004-05. I was commissioned into logistics, so sort of getting stuff from A to B to support the mission. I then volunteered to do my infantry platoon commander's course, so to be an infantry officer. It was a 4-month course in South Wales, in Brecon, which is where the home of the SF or our SF selection is. So we do some of the routes on our course to get us ready for that. So that's a 4-month course. After I did the 4-month course, I went back to the logistic role for a year and a half. At the end of that, I volunteered for my commando course. I'm not sure how it works over here, but you can be a commando and be an artillery officer or a logistic officer or other things. So I was fortunate that I was infantry trained, I was commando trained, but also logistics. So I could move around the sort of battle picture, the battle space very easily. So I did commando role for 2 years, working up in Scotland with the Royal Marines, our fleet protection group. So they're the guys who guard our nuclear missiles going up from south to north. Did that for 2 years, worked over here quite a lot with the US Marine Corps and also I think it's called a Department of Energy or whatever they call it. They are the guys that, again, do that same role, but for the US. They transport your nuclear material around the US. So that was a fantastic role. After 2 years with them, back to logistics for 1 year, doing a company 2IC or squadron 2IC role, and then back to infantry/SFF role with the commandos. See, I was fortunate being an officer. I bounced between a regular role and a commando role or an infantry role. I was never sort of in one space for too long.
There's definitely pros and cons to that. That does make you a more well-rounded officer or leader, but
correct.
It's so much more fun being on the soft side.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely more. I mean, I was continually single for my entire military career. I had girlfriends, but I never had a serious relationship. Looking back now, I'm married. My wife works for the Navy in a unit up here in Virginia Beach, and she has had the opportunity to volunteer for some courses that would take her away from home. And for me, with my military head on, still as a single guy, thinking back to that's fucking awesome. That's amazing. But to her, understandably, being away from home for 4 months at a time when she's got a husband, 6 dogs, 2 cats, and a home, that's not fun. So I definitely agree with you. I think for single guys or guys who love the action, love the drama, it's definitely an appealing role. If I could do my time again, I would enlist, honestly. I would enlist, go straight for SF, do that for 4, 5, 6 years, then try and commission, and then do other things. I think those 6 years as a enlisted guy, kicking down doors, shooting shit, best days of your life. I do think being the officer and that gives you the leadership skills to manage situations as and when they arise. I'd like to think, and hopefully the lads will attest to this, I was never an officer that it was them and me. I wanted a very open relationship, mutual respect. I respect you for what you do and what you bring to the party. You respect me for my education of the battle picture, but you guys have the experience. So I remember one vividly, a guy called Mac. It was my very first tour. I was infantry trained, but I wasn't a commando at this point. Corporal McHugh, he had come from an infantry unit, but we were working as what's called pioneers. So basically, we were attached to an infantry unit. This guy had, 8 years infantry. He knew his shit. He'd been to Afghan twice, Iraq once. So he was a sort of a hardened combat veteran. This was my first tour. We were in a shitty situation. I got my 3 section commanders in and said, look, or 2 of them, one of them was out. So 2 of them in, Mac and another guy, this is what I want to do. What do you think? And he said to me, he goes, you're the fucking boss, make the decision. How do I handle it? So I remember vividly, because I was like, fuck, it's one of those moments that you can either say, you can lose your shit, or you can try and reason with him and get him to see your point. So I said, look, Mac, I have the education of what to do. I know that how to write down the orders. I haven't got the experience. You have 6 years. I have 6 months. Tell me what plan I've given you here. What works in real life? What doesn't work? I need your experience. You need my education to put it over the radio, to call in the assets from company, from division, from brigade. I can't do this without you. And at that point, you guys, all right, boss, this is what I do. This is what I do. Change that, do that. Put those guys there. Mac, thank you. That's great. And it was an amalgamation of both the things. So yeah, it's daunting having the knowledge on paper, but not the experience. You're pushed out the factory. West Point over here, Sandhurst back in the UK. You have the rank slide, but you don't have the experience. But if shit hits the fan, it's you in court saying, "Well, how did you lose 7 of your soldiers?" So it's a very rewarding place to be. And my best job in the army by a long way was as a platoon commander, me and 28 blokes, because it's you, the guys, and you get to know each other. But it's also very scary. My youngest guy was 18, and I thought my girlfriend at the time was like, he's a fucking kid. And he was. I mean, this guy had just left high school. He was 17. He was 17 when we started training for Afghan, and he was 18 2 days before we deployed. So it's very rewarding. Probably the best job, definitely the best job I've ever had. But it's also very daunting to know that all their lives are in your hands.
Yeah,
but fun.
But I mean, it sounds like you had your head on straight. So I mean, dude, there's so much. And all that I kind of want to just dive into. I'm trying not to go back and forth and bounce around, man. But I mean, dude, I turned 19 right before I went to Iraq for the first time in 2003. Right. So I'm like, I understand that kids. Yeah, I was that kid. But it sounds like, you figured out what I tried to tell a lot of newer or younger officers, especially coming into special forces as a young captain, was, man, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room. You don't. You have to know who to utilize to accomplish what you've got to accomplish. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you are the leader. You may be a bro just like everybody else on the team, but everybody's got their role. Correct. And you have to be able to go, this is what we're fucking doing when the time comes, And it sounds like you had that figured out, man. Dude, as far as like being a single guy in special operations, I wouldn't know because I kept fucking up and marrying the wrong women.
Like so many guys in SF, I know. Yeah, I can change them. I can change them.
Taylor's all the time.
Yeah, but on my way out, as I retired, I married another service member. Like
what was his name?
What was his name? Yeah, no, I think I kind of won the lottery on that one, man. I found me an officer, so I kind of won on that one. But yeah, dude, I'm with you, man. Like being a team guy for so long, going all over the world, going on training trips, deployments, things like that. And now I'm the guy sitting at home with my 4 dogs, not quite, the amount of animals you got, but I still got 4 dogs. And now she's still doing the Army thing, going on trips. And it's like, that sounds awesome. And then shit, I got to be home with 4 dogs and try to figure out how to do all this stuff. I'm like, man, this is not how it's supposed to work. We're backwards here.
Oh yeah. Well, even now, my wife Kristen, she goes on sort of jump trips out to Arizona. I see these photographs and these videos, and I'm like, fuck, that looks so much fun. Yeah. And there's me. I mean, I love my other job, which is I coach and manage a gym locally here in Virginia Beach. I love that job. But it's definitely not the adrenaline rush that jumping out of planes and kicking down doors and shooting targets is definitely different.
Yep. Yeah.
But those experiences you're talking about, Greg, are, that's like, I'm thinking about that moment that you had with the dude who had more experience than you, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a common situation that, probably most men have been in at some point in their life, right? And how they handle that situation is really important, right? Because I'm sure you've seen firsthand the opposite. You handled it the complete right way. And Carrie and I have talked about, the hardest thing you've ever done is the hardest thing you've ever done, right? So like your experiences are far different than mine, right? But the hardest thing I've done in my career, in the teaching career, right, it's far different. I've never been in country making a call like that, right? But it's still relative to whoever you're talking about. And I think that humility, right, and being able to put aside like, I'm the guy in charge. This is what I'm going to do, blah blah blah, and being able to take and ask for feedback from people who have more experience than you is incredibly important. Yeah, oh, yeah. And it's really, really humbling. And if you do it the right way, right, if you navigate that correctly, it can pay unbelievable dividends that you wouldn't foresee, right? That situation probably set you up for the success that you have now, kind of laying the bricks for managing and running a gym, and then managing and running a company, right? Entrepreneurship. There's no space for ego. And I'm at an age where I don't do things I don't want to do anymore. If I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. Or like, I'm just not around people I don't want to be around anymore. Right. So like people who have that ego, or like people who are like full of themselves, or like, I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't have time for that. Bye. Right. Yeah. Like, there's space for that humility. And I think that translates directly to the success that you see in your business, right? In your gym and in Green Beret Fitness, probably in your marriage, right? Probably in your relationships that you have with, if you have kids, or like whatever those personal relationships. Right. But I think that's I'm glad you brought that story up, right? I think that resonates with a lot of men in particular.
Yeah. I mean, I know the military taught me, in the classroom, it taught me the blueprints of management, as in the concepts of management, but the reality is different. You have to take those concepts and mold them to the situation. The benefit, in inverted commas, we have in the military is you're often in high pressure, sometimes life and death situations, and you have to get across your message without sounding condescending, rude, obnoxious. Because while yes, on paper, I can say to Corporal Smith, look, I outrank you, fucking do what I say because that's what I said. In reality, I can't physically make him do it. I can't. Especially if I have a whole platoon to deal with. You have to let me tell you a story. So again, another fucking war story. So a different tour, Afghanistan once again. My Mac, Corporal McHugh, who is a guy from the first story, he's now back home on sick leave because his appendix was needed removing. The guy who stepped up to fill his role as section commander for one section had only just been promoted before tour, so he was fucking new in that position, and now he's stepping up again. We are doing an advance to contact, which for those guys who haven't been in the military, you literally advance forward, knowing the enemy's out there but not knowing where. So you advance forward until they start shooting at you. At that point, you know where they are, so you can then advance and destroy them. So we're moving forward, knowing at some point we're going to get in a firefight. Sure as shit, the front left section, which is one section, gets pinned down in a cornfield. I have 2 sections behind me in reserve and 3 on my right-hand flank. So they go down. On the hill behind me is the company asset. They've got some Mastiffs, two armored vehicles, but they can't fire too far ahead because the angle of attack is so close that they're basically shooting over the heads of one section. So I peel off to the right hand side, speak to my my sort of platoon party. I got a MFC, which is a mortar fire controller. He controls the mortars. He controls basically any aviation. So fast jets, Apaches, anything that needs the airspace, he controls that for my platoon. I'm speaking to the Section 2IC who's getting pinned down. It's his first real sort of like, this is getting like danger close moment. So he's panicking. That's fine. We all panic at different times. I'm trying to guide him what to do. Look, I forget his name now. That's really bad. Anyhow, that's fucking really bad. Yeah, that's really bad. Look, peel back. One at a time, peel from your left to your right, picking up the last man, because they were in a shallow ditch, like it was an irrigation ditch. Peel from your left to your right. Once you get as far right as you can, we are on a dirt road. Crawl across that dirt road, and we have a hard wall that you can hide behind. I tried 3 or 4 times, different ways. He just did not understand it. So I remember vividly thinking, look, this is when you get paid to do what you do. You get paid to lead. So I said to my MFC and 2 of my Fijian guys, and Fijian soldiers, if you haven't worked with them, they are fucking outstanding. In combat tours, they are amazing. In barracks, they are a fucking liability, because those guys drink literally like a fucking 24-pack each, and they will fight with each other. But on tour, on combat tours, they are fucking amazing. Anyhow, so I said to my MFC, who's attached to me, all right, Jonesy, this is what's going to happen. We're going to crawl out there. I need to have a face-to-face with whoever, Smithy, and show him, lead him, like face to face, lead him how I want him to go. He said to me, boss, I can do the job just as well from behind the wall as I can from out there. So again, as I said to you guys, and this is why we come back to it, I couldn't physically drag him with me to make him go there. I just couldn't do it. So I remember taking like a 3-4 second pause, thinking, fuck, how do I convey to this guy that I need him out there? So I said to him, Jonesy, okay, if you can promise me that you can do the same job just as well here that you can being right next to those guys, feeling what they feel, seeing what they see and hearing what they hear, then you can stay here. Totally up to you. But you got to promise me you can do the same job, if not better. He's like, fuck. If I die, boss, if I die, I swear to God, I'll come back and fucking haunt you. That's fine. Deal. So sure enough, we crawl out there. And so it was your guys, your Apaches that came down, because ours were fucking, I don't know, probably out of service. The 2 Apaches we have were fucking out of service. But it was American Apaches that came down. And literally, I remember looking up and they were, I don't know, it seemed closer than they were, but it felt like I could touch them. And these guys they just sprayed the whole, because it was 2 buildings, the gable end of one and the long end of the other one, in like a hedge line in the green zone. And they just fucking annihilated they annihilated these buildings, giving us a chance to crawl from left to right back into the safe area. But yeah, it was one of those moments that tested my leadership once again. How do you convey, or how do you convince someone to do something they don't want to do, and make it sound like it's their decision?
Yeah.
And that's totally applicable to any job in the world, but hopefully not with the same potential outcome.
What's is that down in Hellman?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, the Apaches, man.
Yeah. Were you in Hellman at all? Did you get
I've been all over Afghanistan, but I did a hit in Helmand. It was a 3-team hit. Ended up being about 24 hours. We ended up getting in about a 7-hour gunfight where we had been completely surrounded by the Taliban overnight.
Right.
It was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds strange, but it's a really beautiful country. Clearly, it's been at war for centuries. But the actual topography and geography is stunning. I saw today, I don't know how true it was, whether it was a satirical post, but apparently...
Oh, yeah.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
The Taliban are inviting American tourists back into Afghanistan to explore.
I saw that too. Is that real?
Yeah, so...
Because the video was hilarious.
Yeah.
So you can go back, man. So Eastern Afghanistan, dude, that's up in like Kunar province, man. That's my area. But I had an old interpreter from my 2012 trip that ended up coming to the States, becoming a U.S. citizen, did some contract work and stuff like that. But this is probably about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. It was after basically the fall and our debacle of a pullout and the Taliban taking over.
Right.
But he went back, man, because trying to get some stuff with his family.
Right.
And he called me as he's walking down the road in Kabul, and he's like, "Bro, you wouldn't believe it, man." He's like, "It's safe." He's like, "There's no fighting." He's, people are poor and starving.
Yeah.
But there's no violence. I don't have to worry about getting shot up. I don't have to worry about IEDs. He's like, at that time, ISIS was still in Nangarhar.
Right.
He's like, "We can't go to Nangarhar because ISIS still pretty much controls Nangarhar." And he goes, "And you're not allowed to go to Kunar." He goes, "But dude, you can come anywhere else."
That's
He's
incredible.
like, "It is perfectly safe. I can't go to Kunar because they apparently remember me there."
Really?
Yeah.
That scary asshole.
Well, dude, I was like, man, I was competing in strongman around that time. I was about 220 pounds. I had this massive blonde beard. I spoke Pashto like really well.
Wow.
And I don't hear very well. So when I'm getting shot at, that whiz that goes, when it goes past you and you hear that little whiz, that snap, I don't hear that. I hear the guns, but I don't hear the snap. And so while it's incredibly dangerous, it makes me look like a super badass.
Yeah.
Like it's completely like false. I'm not, but it makes me look that way.
Just can't hear how close it is.
Yeah. So they nicknamed me Sungar, singer, like bunker, Sungar. Like fighting position, something like a singer. Sungar, I don't know.
Oh,
but like a bunker type thing. But apparently they remember Sungar. The giant white guy that speaks posh to you.
But yeah, I saw that video and I was like, is it real? But clearly it must be. But yeah, it is a beautiful country. Clearly been at unrest and civil war for centuries. But
it looks gorgeous when they open
yeah.
up. When they open up hunting and fishing trips, I'm
yeah, right. You're going.
Looks
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah,
It is. Really nice.
They used to have a species of deer that had fangs living up in the mountains. This little itty bitty, it looks like a tiny whitetail with fangs.
We still have them in like Kazakhstan and other
Really?
countries in that region.
They may still be in Afghanistan. Oh, dude, I'd go back and hunt those.
Yeah,
they've got giant ibex and all sorts of cool stuff up there.
Yeah, I never saw ibex. You see them more in like Pakistan. I never saw ibex in Afghanistan. I saw porcupines and lots of sheep.
yeah, loads of sheep.
Yeah, and donkeys and camels every now and again.
Yeah, and massive fucking dogs.
Yes, dude, those dogs are gnarly.
Yeah,
I almost got eaten by one dude doing a foot patrol.
Oh, are they fighting wolves or something to protect the sheep, or are they just huge?
They're more like what are those? Is it kangals? Whatever the livestock hunting, like livestock guarding dogs. But these dogs must weigh, I don't know, 150 pounds, 200 pounds.
What are they guarding the livestock against?
People, animals. Yeah.
They've got wild dogs. Like, I don't know if they are coyotes, but they've got other dogs that'll eat. I mean, there's different breeds out there, but the breed he's talking about, man, it looks like a grizzly bear and a werewolf.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just pure evil looking.
Yeah.
But monsters.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg, backtracking just a little bit, when you were telling that story with your guy, what was his name? Jonesy?
Yeah, I think the MFC guy, I think it was Jonah or Jonesy. And we're talking about what? Almost 20 years ago now. So it's a while.
Yeah. I hope shout out to Jonesy. Hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
The founder of this company, Luke, one of my favorite things that he says, he's got a great line that he probably can't take credit for, but reminded me of that story. He always says, like, the difference between leadership and manipulation. He's like, you know what the difference between leadership and manipulation is? I don't know, man. And he's like, intent, right? The intent of what you're trying to get the other person to do. That's the difference, right? Leadership is positive, manipulation is negative or for personal gain, right? And so when you're saying, like, I can't physically make this guy do whatever I need him to do, right?
Right.
But you're trying to, the ultimate end goal is beneficial for everybody to get those guys in the cornfield, and probably for him personally, right? To come out by the wall, like, that's a win for him too. Can you talk about a little bit, connect that to like the mindset behind Green Beret Fitness, right? Because I'm sure when you're doing these events, right, and maybe you can talk about your core ethos a little bit, right? People are capable of more than they think. Maybe connect the dots there between leadership and manipulation, right? Because you're trying to convince these people to do something gnarly, right? You're not handing out participation trophies on these things, which is what Kerry was like, hey, this guy's the real deal. People are doing hard shit. Maybe talk about that or expand on that a little bit for us.
Yes, the company was set up, as you said, with the foundation of people can do more than they think, or people are capable of more than they believe. There's a lot of great companies. I take nothing away from them. That you go to and you are guaranteed a medal or a patch. Be it a marathon, I know I can run a marathon in 7 hours, 5 hours, get a medal for it. We have different times for our events. So it's you, the mountain, the weight on your back, and a route. If you want to just pass, then you, let's say, for example, have 7 hours to do that route and come down. If you pass, you get high five, good job, buddy, and maybe a hug if you want one. That's it. What we want to try and attract is what we call the dog tag seekers. Those who want to push themselves, those who want to challenge themselves. And we have a saying, dare to fail, because you might not get the dog tag. You might not even pass. But I will always encourage someone to try the event. They're not sure if they can pass. They're not sure they're going to get the dog tag. Because if you enter an event, if you go to an event knowing 100% you will get a patch, you will get a medal, are you really challenging yourself? Yes, I can do a marathon in 4.5, 5 hours, and it's physically hard. But trying to do it in 3 hours, fuck, that's a real challenge for me personally. So the goal of GBF is to try and encourage people to step out the comfort zone, ideally as an individual, if not in small teams. You can do large teams. It just any team environment is easier. Our SF, UK SF, we test the individual before we put them into teams, because we want to see what the individual is capable of physically and mentally. At that point, when they pass that selection, we call it aptitude phase. We will then put them into the team phase, which is done in the jungle, small teams. So the events themselves are mountain events, given a time, given a route, and see how fast you can do it in. This weekend, we have 4 in Salt Lake City, Utah. One of them, the biggest one, Operation 50, it's 50 miles, almost 10,000 feet in elevation gain. And you have to do it in 24 hours for a pass and a high five and a hug. But if you really want to push yourself, it's 20 hours. It's
10,000 feet of elevation gain?
Almost 10,000 feet. Yeah, in 50 miles. It's probably one of our hardest single day events. So we have other events that are multi-day events, day and a half, 5-day events. But for a single 24 hours or less, this event is probably our hardest.
Wow.
Our flagship event is based on our aptitude phase. So our first stage of selection, it's called Operation Sterling. It's done every October. That's 5 days back to back in North Carolina. Every route gets longer, every day gets heavier, and the time limits are not known. The reason they're not known, just like real selection, is if let's say us 3 are doing an event, Carter's a fucking machine. He knows that the time cap is 8 hours. He knows he can do it in 6 hours, but he's going to take his time because he's got a 2-hour window. So he's going to take it easier. So Carter's only giving 55% effort. Kerry and I are not as fit as Carter, so we are going fucking max effort. We don't want to see that. We want to see everyone give 100%. So none of the time limits are known. So day 1 of Operation Sterling is 10 miles with 25 pounds. Day 2 is 12 miles with 30 pounds. Day 3 is 13 miles with 35 pounds. Day 4 is 18 miles with 40 pounds. And day 5, which is test day, and you don't get access to test day unless you pass the other 4 days, is 28 miles with 50 pounds. Oh, and every day you have a rifle with you, a replica rifle weighing 10 pounds as well. Wow. We've only ever had one finisher of doing this in the entire time. So it's definitely hard. It will probably never be a huge attraction because it's so hard and it's so daunting, but it's our flagship event. But we, as Kerry and I spoke last week, what I don't want to do, and I'm prepared to risk the business on this, is just do a participation trophy. Yes, you came here. Here's a patch for you. Good job, buddy. Well done. Go and show your friends on social media. I want people to turn up with a real chance of failure, because with that real chance of failure comes growth. And if you pass, then you know you earned it. As I said to everyone who earns a dog tag knows that if they meet someone who's also got a dog tag, they fucking earned it. They didn't just turn up and coast that event. They earned it, because all our events to earn a dog tag take grit, determination, and physical fitness. So yeah, that's the basics. The events are hard deliberately. You may not pass, but that's where the magic happens, because you will learn either way: pass, fail, or get dog tags.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that too, because I mean, like you said, you're pushing guys to do hard things and to push themselves to do it, right? The whole dare to fail, right? Like, if you can't be scared of failing, otherwise you won't do shit.
Correct.
But I try to tell people, especially my kids, like, doing hard things that you decide to do is going to make real life easier. When things get hard in real life, it's not going to be as hard as it would have been. Like, it's conditioning you, it's disciplining you. And you talked about the guys earning the dog tags. You got 2 guys meet that earn a dog tag. That guy knows that the other dude, he's gonna be a decent person, right? Like, I tell the kids all the time, like, fitness is important, because you go out into the workforce and I have a fat slob, and then I've got someone who's fit, and on paper they're equal.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the guy who's fit because he can take care of himself, right?
Correct.
So same thing with the guy who is willing to go out there and risk failing by doing something hard. You know what I mean? That's somebody that you can rely on.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that the SF community, be it Americans or British, there's a shared hardship there. You know that if a guy passed 10 years before you, he did the same or similar shit that you went through. It's the same as Navy SEAL training, that every Navy SEAL that ever has done buds. They have that shared hardship. They know that if they meet in the middle of Afghanistan or Syria or Lebanon, they know that, okay, he's a good dude. He's passed this as a minimum, so I know I can trust him this much.
Right.
Whereas if you, and perhaps this shouldn't be the case, but I know if I met other Army guys who hadn't done a commando course or hadn't done an infantry course, I was a lot more dubious about what level of skill this guy has, what level of sort of knowledge of combat operations does he have. So it's a shared hardship breeds a brotherhood or sisterhood.
Yeah, you're right. And on my last deployment, it was multi-nation team, right? I actually worked with some SAS guys as well as Canadian special operations, and then other special operations within the U.S. military. And you're right. Like, you're always going to have that kind of, butt sniffing going on, like, dick measure contest type stuff. But at the same time, like, that everybody there has done hard things to get where they are. They're capable, they're determined, and they're, you're going to be able to do what you need to do with those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to event, I won't name them, but I've been to events with other companies where I've seen people who are not in shape. They've clearly done no physical preparation to be at this event. Me and a few people who are like me have given 110%. Because we had to give more to carry those who were giving 50%, or maybe it was their 100%, but they didn't train up beforehand, or they didn't prepare to be there. And for me, if you're going to do any event, you should turn up in the best possible physical shape you can do, so you don't have to rely on the team. Yes, injury is different. If you turn up to an event and you get injured, then yes, the team is there to support you. If you turn up to an event because you're a fat, lazy fuck, that's not an accident. You just didn't train, and you just wanted the team to pick you up and carry you to the finish line, so you get a fucking 3x2 patch. That's not what I want. You chose
to be a liability. Yeah,
correct. And that's not what I want. And at our events, as I said before, we are not in city streets. We go out into the mountains, very often with no cell service. So if you get 5 miles in and you are wheezing like a fucking fat kid after a fucking 1 mile effort, then you have no choice. You either have to continue the other 3, 4, 5 miles and come back to the finish, or you come the 5 miles back. Because I'm not going to walk up there to carry your fat ass down. That's down to you. If you're in a team, then great, good luck. But why should your team carry you and your equipment down? And again, that's when your team needs to say to you, hey, look, I've worked the last 7 weeks to get fit for this course. You've been in the bar every night drinking 5 pints, not doing any fitness. Why am I sacrificing my chance at getting dog tags for your lack of effort? Yeah. And again, that's a case by case basis. If your friend wants to sacrifice his time, high five, go for it. In my background, so let me tell you another story. I was in a logistic unit. I was the second in command of a squadron, so probably 120, 140 guys. And we had group PT. And I said, right, who can't do PT today? And out the 100 guys who were there, probably, I don't know, fucking 60% said, oh, I can't do it. This is injured, that's injured, this is injured. I literally, like, this is shit. And it was that moment I wanted to go to the SF or commando forces. Fast forward, maybe 2 years later, I'm up in Fast Lane working. I'm attached as an army commando attached to the Royal Marines. Same thing again, albeit smaller. I had 23 guys this time. I said, all right, we're going for a 9 mile speed march. Who can't do it? No one put their hand up. I'm like, Dave, you have a broken arm. You can't do this. He's like, oh, I'm fine, boss. If I fall, I'll just fall on this arm and I'll do a roll on that. no, I'm not. That's not an option. You are not doing this run. You can go on the bike in the gym, but you're not doing the run. And that was they were the guys I want to be surrounded by, not the ones who didn't want to because it's difficult, but because it's difficult, they want to. Very different mindsets, and that was where I spent most of the rest of my career is with those guys, not with the guys who shirked away from hard stuff, the uncomfortable stuff, the stuff that isn't fun, but you grow from. So yeah, that's who we want. We don't want I don't want to be a millionaire from this thing. I don't want to earn millions of dollars and have a massive company. I want to obviously make a profit. It's a business, but keep it small. And I want to seek those 5%, 15% of people who really want to do things that they may not pass, but they will definitely grow from.
Yeah.
And our issue is never people coming back. Our retention rate for people doing events is, I think, 87%, 83% now. Our issue is the marketing side of it. Making people aware of who we are, what we do, which hopefully you guys are helping us with here with thanks. But once they do the events, 83% of them come back and repeat customers because they enjoy it so much. Enjoy. Maybe not at the time, but certainly after. Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you a story, Greg. After my first elk hunt, which was one of the hardest things I've ever done, we went and hunted at 9,000 feet, or we camped at 8,000 feet, and the elk were up at between 9 and 10,000 feet. It was the middle of November. It was cold as shit. The elk were supposed to be way lower, but the snow hadn't pushed them down yet. And I live at 0 feet, right? So I already couldn't breathe up there. There was no damn air up there. And we're going out for the whole day with all of our gear and all that shit, right? It was hard, right? It was one of the more difficult things I've ever done.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I was with just some guys from Hunt Lift Eat that I'd met, and so I'm trying to put on a brave face. One of the guys we were with was a Green Beret, and Luke was there, the owner, and he's a infantry guy, and the school teacher's trying to put on a brave face, and yeah, man, just couldn't find any air up there. Having a tough time, right? And then the snow came and blah, 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 blizzard every day. And I was like, this sucks. Like, I hate this. This is so dumb. Couldn't find any elk. I was like, this is the dumbest hobby ever. Like, I hate this. Never doing this again. Soaking wet, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, I was like, man, I can't wait to do that again next year. I can't wait. Right. And like, that's what keeps people coming back. So I think, you have the magic in a bottle right there. That's
in psychology. There's something called type 1, 2, and 3 fun. What type 1 fun is? It's fun while you're doing it, and it's fun afterwards. Type 2 is it's not fun while you're doing it, but it's fun afterwards. And type 3 is it's not fun while you're doing it, and it's not fun afterwards. Yeah. So I don't know how they call it fun, but so we aim to hit the type 2. When you're on the mountains, the views are beautiful, but the lack of oxygen, the breathing, the sore legs, tired legs, sore back, that's not fun for anyone. Being sore is not fun for anyone. But when you get back to the hotel after the shower, the nice food, you look back and think, physically, you think, fuck, I achieved that. Like that was, as you just said, that was the hardest thing I've done, but I achieved it. And I guarantee if you did the same thing again, it'll be slightly easier. And the next time you do it, slightly easier again, because you get conditioned, you get fitter each time, and your mind knows that, okay, I won't die from this. I can do it. It's going to suck a little bit, but at the end of it, I have a warm shower and a hot meal. So no, I'm a firm believer, and I think Kerry will back me up as well, that the more tough situations you expose yourself, I think the technical term is exposure therapy. The more times you expose yourself to challenging, uncomfortable situations, the less uncomfortable they become over time. The sad thing is that
comfortable.
Correct. Yeah. I think there's a book. I forget the name of the author, American guy. And there's one called A Comfort Crisis by a famous author. There's another one called Uncomfortably. I'll email you guys. But it's a great book. I have the audio book of it. But I think modern society, and maybe even not modern society, maybe it's been generations before us as well, but it's just not as relevant with media. I think modern society shies away from discomfort because social media is so prevalent, because laptops, because we can Skype with each other. We don't need to walk 10 miles to our friend's house. People are glued to their phone. I mean, I'm just as guilty with GBF and stuff and my own personal social media. I'm on the phone every day doing work. But I don't know how you do encourage people to seek the discomfort, because with discomfort comes growth. With growth comes an easier life to do things with, or a better life, not an easier life, a better life. And I guess that's the question for any endurance company, is how do you attract people to try things that are difficult? And I haven't found the answer just yet.
Yeah.
If you do, let me know.
Yeah, right.
You try and model it, right? Like for my kids, I'm thinking about what you're saying right now. Try to model that for my kids. And I'm just as guilty as anybody, sitting on my couch scrolling through Instagram when my kids are like, I've done that, right? My kids are there like playing or like whatever.
Yeah.
And, I'm just like scrolling on Instagram and it's like, dude, what are you doing? Right? Let's go outside and let's go walk through the woods. Let's go, whatever. What's the hardest thing we did today? Right.
Yeah.
Or I'm just going to sit here and like goof around. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was very lucky with my upbringing. My parents loved the outdoors. They loved hiking. We had the North Wales Mountains 45 minutes away.
Yeah. What did they change the name to? Because it used to be Snowdonia, and I heard they changed it to something else.
I'm not sure. As far as I'm aware, it's still, so Snowdonia is the region. Mount Snowdon is the biggest mountain within that region. But if you ever get a chance to go there, it's a fucking great mountain. You can get a train up there, but there's 3 main walking routes, and they are all incredible. But it's a great mountain. If it's not shitty weather, on that one day a year, it's not shitty weather. It's great.
Yeah, I used to live off of Anglesey in Holy Island.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Little village called Triada Bay.
What were you doing there?
My stepdad is Welsh.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No idea. How long? What age were you living there?
So I just went for like summers and Christmases and things like that from starting when I was like 15 or 16 until I went active duty. So late 90s, early 2000s.
For most of the audience who don't know, Anglesey is a small island off the northwest of Wales. It has an RAF training, an Air Force training base. It's not very mountainous itself, but it's perhaps 30 minutes away from this fucking beautiful Snowdonia National Park. So if you ever get a chance to, and most people visit London because it's London. But if you ever get a chance to visit the UK, definitely visit North Wales if you can, Scotland. I mean, Wales has so many beautiful castles. Most of them are not used anymore. A few of them are. But yeah, I mean, London is great. You can get a train from there to Liverpool. And yeah, it's a great place. It's still home. It's my first home. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great place. So I guess that is my youth, my from age 4 to 16 in the mountains with my parents was where GBF was probably planted, if I'm being back as far as it goes, because it was a great experience for me. It was fun, but it was also tiring. And now fast forward, I'm 43 now, so it's a long time ago, but I still love the mountains. I don't get out there as often as I'd like to. Virginia Beach is not that mountainous. But any chance I get, so this weekend I'm flying into Utah. I'll be on the mountains for some of that weekend as well with some of the guys, and we'd love to have you guys out there as well. Any event that comes near, give me a shout, boys.
Yeah, my wheels are turning, man. I'd love to go do one with you, Kerry. And I think you're talking to the right community with this podcast, Greg. I think this is probably the wheels are turning to all the listeners involved here.
We're actually doing a ruck challenge right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We spoke to Kifaru, the backpack manufacturer. I'm sure you're aware of them. The old CEO, I forget his name now. He's a famous hunter. Say again?
Snyder.
Yes, yeah. He now works for Born Primitive Outdoor. So him and I did a podcast a while ago, and we got a lot of interest from that because, again, the hunting community, while we don't do hunting on the events, the the physical side of it is, as Carter, as you were saying, it is basically what you're doing on a hunt. You have to climb elevation with pack. And if you are on a trail of something, I mean, I haven't been hunting, I must admit, it's not a big thing in the UK. But you can't afford to just take your time and go as slow as you want. You have to chase the prey and catch up with it. And it sounds fucking exhausting. So yeah,
especially
our audience.
Because if you catch up with it, then you got to haul it off the mountain.
Exactly, it gets even heavier. So yeah, our audience and your audience is definitely a good match.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of overlap. We got to fix this hunting thing, man. We got to get you out somewhere.
I know.
Yeah, I'm moving to Texas here in a few weeks. In fact, I just closed on my house today. But so I'm moving down there. But once I get kind of the lay of the land figured out, I can maybe work something out down there and get you on something. Or Carter's not too far. He can probably get you set up and go shoot something there in North Georgia or somewhere up in Appalachia. We got to get you out hunting, man.
Sounds good.
And then bring a ruck, because you have to ruck out the animal. You can't drag it out like most of us fat whitetail guys.
I'm amazed that pigs didn't come from Walmart. I was just amazed.
That's right. So for Greg, for people who are curious and their wheels are turning, how do they look into this? How do they see what events you have going on, where the locations are, and maybe you mentioned the team aspect. Can you talk about the teams? Can you sign up with?
So you can. We suggest doing it individual. Maybe not the first time, but as both of you will know, doing an event as a team is easier. Arguably, it's more fun because when one of you's down, you have your teammates to lift you up. If you are slow, hungry, you can share the food, share the pain. So having an individual event definitely makes it harder, but equally it makes it more rewarding because you got to the finish line as a result of 100% your own effort, no one else's. So it's definitely sweeter, but equally it's harder. So the first time, sign up with a friend or not. If you want to bite the bullet and go for it extreme the first time, sign up as an individual. We are in the process of finalizing the events for next year. So that should be out mid to early August. But we have events in California, Colorado, Utah, New York, hopefully Arizona next year. Florida, we have a huge event in Florida every year, every MLK weekend in Ocala National Park. It's 68 miles in 24 hours, carrying 25 pounds, 5 checkpoints. Most people do that as a team. The fastest people always do it individual, but navigation is the terrain is pretty flat. It's fucking Florida, but the navigation is pretty hard because it's the Ocala National Forest. It's dark. You start at 5 p.m. So you have perhaps 90 minutes of light, and then you go into the pitch black. So it's hard, but it's our biggest event by far. But yeah, we are online. We have Instagram. We have Facebook. Most stuff is put on Instagram. We have a website that's pretty outdated and shitty, but we're looking to update that one. But it's up to date on events. It's just not as modern looking and not as intuitive as I'd like. But everything involves money, so that'll come. But yeah, website has all the events on it. It has t-shirts if you want to buy a t-shirt, and I see Kerry's modeling one of those t-shirts now.
This is dear to Phil.
That's right. Yeah, one of our sayings. So yeah, the website is probably the best place to get the facts, just what events they are, when they are, where they are, and what they entail. Instagram gives you about the company, the brand, who we are, what we look for, and that sort of stuff. We also have coming out in August, we are releasing, I think, 9 different patches, all based on real military events. So the 9-mile speed march, the 12-mile loaded march, and if you achieve all 6, you then earn the overarching patch, which is a skull and commando dagger, the Furburner Sykes fighting knife, of which I have one behind me. But I won't bore you guys with that.
I'm very, very familiar with the V42.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so online, Instagram or the Facebook, online, the website or Facebook. That's the best option.
Outstanding.
Hell yeah.
And if they email us, they can email us. It's info@greenberetfitness.com. If they tell us they heard about it on your podcast, we'll give them 15% discount. How's that?
Outstanding.
All
All right, I'm in.
You won't get it free. I'll give you it free. How's that?
No, I know how hard it is to. Well, Carrie and I don't have any of the responsibility, but we get to see a little bit behind the curtain of the entrepreneurship side of things, and we know how difficult it is. And
it's exciting. It's time consuming, but it's exciting as well.
Sure.
I'm a much bigger fan of letting other people do it and not just come on and talk on their podcast.
Key. Awesome.
Well, thanks for having me on, gents. It's been fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you
man.
think?
And it worked this time as well.
Yeah. Was this the fifth time? Is that what it is?
Fifth time. First time this week. Fifth time.
Yeah.
It was the squeaky wheel for sure.
Right.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, Greg. I love hearing about your past experiences and what you do and how that translates to what you're doing now. And most importantly, the message that you're trying to push to people. Being uncomfortable and doing hard things. I think that really resonates with a lot of our listeners. So thank you for coming on and sharing that.
My pleasure, boys.
Yeah. What do you think, Gary?
Yeah, man. Check out Green Beret Fitness. They're doing some cool shit. Do hard things. It makes you a better person.
100%.
Outstanding. Awesome. Well, once again, thanks, Greg, and listeners. Thank you guys, as always. We appreciate the hell out of you. We'll talk